my gosh, we are back, Megan.
Yeehaw!
Hello. Welcome back to the Sidekicks podcast. My name is Sean. I'm a professional dancer in New York City.
And my name is Megan. I am Sean's sister, and I am a current Dallas Cowboys cheerleader, and we are two siblings in the same industry, just wearing totally different shoes.
New episodes release every Thursday, and you can follow us on social medias at the Sidekicks Pod. Megan, what the heck is up, girl?
So sorry, my voice literally cracked on that yeehaw, so
Oh, it's okay.
apologies to every headphone user there.
You weren't one.
All right. I wasn't. Yeah, I know. I didn't do my vocal warm-up for
Do you want to do them really quick?
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Okay. She's one.
Ma. We're ready.
All
Today, we've got everything auditions. What does that entail? That entails all of the stories, the experiences, even the crazy funny stories that our friends have gone through. And honestly, just putting yourself out there to be potentially rejected or accepted by some strangers. It's crazy.
It's loco crazy. No. Well, but before we do that, should we start a new little segment of our show, Megan?
We shall.
Yay. Let's get into it. We're doing side quests.
Side quests. Side quest of the week. All right. So, Sean, what did you do this week?
This week, I had the awesome opportunity to work with a really awesome choreographer, most amazing group of dancers. And basically, we performed for a very notable arts and education philanthropist. It was his 90th birthday. And I got to do that at Brown University in Rhode Island. So that was very fun.
That is amazing.
Thank
Congrats.
you. I appreciate that. What did you do this week, Megan?
I actually went on a 14-hour road trip to Iowa with some of my friends for a wedding. So we left at like 5 p.m. and ended up getting to Iowa around 8:30 in the morning. But we ended up making a whole road trip out of it. We stopped in Kansas. I actually heard the town drama at Denny's at 4 in the morning when we went to stop to use the bathroom. I don't even know what happened. And then we also went to Missouri and also Arkansas. And so it was just so much fun. So
Fun little
a
trip
fun
with
little
your
road
friends.
trip. Yes,
I love it.
exactly. So that was refreshing. Something a little unrelated to dance, but definitely needed for the soul. So
Yeah.
very exciting.
All right. Well, enough about our side quests. Now that you're caught up with our week, let's get into today's episode.
Today, we're talking about auditioning, the good, the spooky, and the weird psychology of trying to convince strangers that you belong there.
Well, let's get right into it. Megan, we have been auditioning for quite a long time, actually. Let's take us back to the childhood.
I think we started out at a very young age. Obviously, we dabbled a little bit in the segment before, but we grew up in a competitive dance studio and we had to audition for our spots. Every single year, we had to audition to be in the tap group, the jazz group, the musical theater, the lyrical. And a lot of that came with a lot of training, as well as putting yourself out there in front of our judges, even our dance teachers, which sometimes can be the worst and hardest critics. Would you agree?
Yeah. And why do you think that auditioning is the scariest part?
It's because I think a lot of dancers attach their identity to auditioning in dance because that's what you do all day, every day. You're with your friends, you have your community, you work really hard, and that establishes your character. And so sometimes when you get that no, I think it hits and stings a little bit harder than any other rejection because it's kind of like a reflection of you. It's like, oh, shoot, am I not good enough? But it's hard for dancers sometimes to isolate that.
Yeah, and I think it is hard, but what is nice is since we've done it for such a long time, you do get a little bit of desensitization to it, where you're like, this is just an audition.
Exposure therapy.
Is just literally, this is a part of our everyday life. And I think that has definitely helped. I mean, like even in high school, like we would go to Disneyland and we would do mock Disney auditions. And they would run us exactly what they would do through a traditional audition. I mean, it wasn't exactly a traditional audition. I remember
Didn't you have to sing?
Yes, they literally made me stand up in front of my entire class as a senior, and I had to hold a girl's hand and sing, "I can show you the world," in front of all my friends, and I had no experience singing. Still don't. Yeah. So I think that just getting comfortable being uncomfortable is something that definitely prepares you to continue doing that.
Totally. And I think what we learned in that audition as well was that just say yes and put yourself out there and go with it. I remember the instructor there told us if you can sing happy birthday, then you can sing.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe you don't sing well, but you can still
Hey,
technically
confidence
sing.
is key. Confidence is key, and it'll carry you
Exactly.
places, for sure.
Exactly. Yes. I even remember going across the floors, situations like that. If you even didn't smile when you went across the floor, you were cut. So it's like learned a lot of things about like stepping into your confidence and owning it.
Yeah, if you can't go across the floor with a smile on your face, you're not gonna be able to do a hard combination with a smile on your face, and then some.
Exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
going further into auditions, let's talk about what typically happens in an audition. I feel like
Great
there's
question.
I mean, I think that every audition is unique in that it pertains to what show you are auditioning for. But for the most part, I feel like every audition starts the same. You check in, you get a number, and then you go in with everyone else to warm up. Now, warm up, I feel like, is one of the scariest parts of an audition because it's right before it happens. And this is when everyone is starting to kind of stake out like
Size
who's
each
their
other up.
competition. No, for sure. Have you experienced that?
So for me in my audition, I remember standing outside of the Ford Center is where we kinda gathered before we walked into the audition room, and you see all these beautiful girls. I'm like, "What am I even doing here?" That girl is so stunning. So, like,
Yeah.
that's kind of where everyone, like, looks around and people wear their backpacks too, and a lot of girls come from collegiate teams where they have their college dance team backpacks on, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, this girl went to this amazing school and this girl went to this school." And so you're like, "Oh my gosh," you can start to really get in your head.
Yeah.
And I'm sure for you, when you're at those open call auditions, a lot of people are like doing their stretching
Oh,
and
yeah.
probably doing some weird things. I don't
Yeah.
even
You know,
know.
as
Give
like
us
a
some
guy, it's
insight.
like some people are doing their push-ups, some people are doing their oversplit, some people know a lot of people, so you have this little community and you're like, "Oh, they're
Mm,
laughing," and then sometimes you're just by yourself and you're like,
yes.
"My gosh, this is."
I've been
It's
there.
scary, I feel like either way, but no, it's where you start kind of picking out what's happening, what's the vibe for the audition, and it starts there. And then from there, I feel like typically, depending on what there's usually a first round where they're trying to kind of weed out people that have never danced in their life from people that can carry a step. So maybe it's across the floor, maybe it's just like
Mhm.
a combo that's maybe all encompassing. And then
Totally.
from there, you learn the choreo. Usually, they pull you into the room in groups. You learn the choreo, and then you perform it in groups, and then you start getting cut. The worst part,
Yeah, my heart rate is honestly getting faster thinking about it.
take a
It's
breath,
honestly
Megan.
the
Take a breath.
worst.
It's not real.
It's not real. I know, it's all in my head.
Um, which is
No, it's
again, that's
definitely stressful.
definitely a portion is getting into your head at these auditions. It's very easy to do that.
That's one of the things that I've learned, especially in the audition room, is everyone is super focused on themselves, and sometimes you're like, "Oh my gosh, I wish I, like, did this differently, and this person probably watched me mess up, and now they're, like, laughing at me and probably gonna text all their friends how terrible I was." But no one's thinking like that. Everyone's thinking about themselves and they're super focused on what they're doing in their own world. So I think when you
Yeah.
get out of your head and like, I don't care, I'm gonna do whatever I need to do, then you're gonna succeed a little bit better.
Yeah. So you have your cuts. Yikes. Maybe you make it. Maybe you
Yikes.
go on to the next round. Maybe they have a couple rounds. Maybe there's callbacks the next day. And
Mhm.
then after that, you either make it or you don't, or maybe they will tell you in like a month or something.
Oh my
But I mean,
gosh.
that's for the most part about
This
what you would expect from an audition.
this all sounds very familiar to your Radio City audition. Do you wanna like deep dive a little bit more about how your experience was with that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I basically just described it to a T. Little bit more backstory though. I remember when my first year auditioning, the guys would come one day and the girls would come another day, so it was just guys, and on my first day, there was 400 guys that came to this open call, and
400?
400. I was like, "Who?
Oh my
Who?
goodness.
Where? I don't even know there are 400 guy dancers in the world."
I know.
So when I got there, you get your number. I was number 81. So I think 8:30 was my call time in the morning. And they
Ooh,
bring you in, I think like
early.
80 people at a time. And then you would learn the combination packed into the room. You would go and do it, and you'd go five at a time. You get one chance, and then hopefully you make it past the first round. And I remember going into that audition, I was like, I'd had so many friends that had done it, and some people make it past the first round, but the first round is where they cut a majority of the people.
Mhm.
And so my goal going into it, I was like, I don't really care what happens. I was just like, it would be really, really awesome if I could make it past the first round.
For
And then I
sure.
did. And I was like, yes. I was like, that's all I wanted to do. I really don't care what happens after that. And then they
Also, I remember you never told any of us that you were auditioning. I had no clue.
Yeah, that was the other thing. I didn't want to have people's expectations on my shoulders. I was like, I just want to go in. I know I'm not going to make it this round. I just want to have that experience so I can come back and maybe next year I can feel a little bit more confident or better prepared. And so I didn't really want to tell anyone just because I didn't want to disappoint anyone, which I know is crazy, but as a dancer, you're just like,
For sure. It's hard.
yeah, it's hard, but I did make it past. They ended up holding us for that day. I think we had like 3 more rounds of cuts where they taught us like a jazz number, they taught us lyrical, they taught us some tap, they taught us like a Santa Claus number, and then like a little bit of like maybe an elf. I don't remember. It was a long day. They made lots and lots of cuts, and they made it down to us about 25 guys by the end of that first day.
Wow.
And then they brought us all back for a second. We continued on learning more dances, re-auditioning the dances we already learned, and then from there, they're like, all right, you guys did amazing. You might hear from us in a month. You might not hear from us ever. And hopefully you have a good summer. I felt really strong though. And I was like, you know what? Whatever happens, happens. I'm really, really like just on cloud nine that I made it to the end of it. I never ever expected to get there in my life. So I was like, this is the best day ever. And then, yeah, I eventually did hear, I think it was like a month later, and the rest is history.
Woo! I feel like it's really hard to make it your first round too,
Yeah.
because
No,
it's
that's
like you said, there's like 400 guys. And that is so intimidating to walk into a room and you just see a sea of people and you're like, they're gonna have to decide between us. And you're
yeah.
like, everyone looks the part too. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
It's everyone. I was like, "Y'all look like you just came off of Broadway." Like, they had perfect coiffed hair, they had muscles, they had the LaDuca boots. I was wearing
Oh my
an old
gosh.
pair of block jazzies. I felt like they found me on the street. Like, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm not wearing the right clothes." I was like, "Oh, this is the worst." But
What was the internal dialogue in your head during that?
the
I have to know.
internal dialogue was I was just like, have a good time. I love the style of dance, like technical jazz, very performative. I feel like that was my background to a T. Disney dance
Yes.
team. I felt like this was a combination of the two. So I was like, this is my wheelhouse. Like, this is what I love to do. So I was like, let's boogie. Let's do it. I was excited.
It's boogie.
And, no, it was so much fun. It was definitely very intimidating, and I got to a point where I was like, "Please, someone in the universe, if you could just help me out this one
Just
time,
once, please.
please." And someone out there was like, "Bet. Gotcha, buddy."
You got
No, but it is like it is very much just figuring out what they want from you, and they wanted a technical dancer, they wanted someone that's gonna hopefully take notes, and they were
Mhm.
giving out notes throughout the audition process, like, turn your cheek more or hinge more. They would give you critiques, and that was part of it, seeing if you were adaptable, seeing if you could take a critique without taking it personally, but
That's huge.
it was crazy, but it was a wonderful audition experience. It was very stressful just not knowing, but I feel like everyone is in that boat. I think that one thing to take away from that though was you never know what they're looking for or what position they're trying to fill because,
So true.
I throwing back to like a Disney audition, I remember they had an open call for girls and they had 400 girls go to this audition. They just said open call, this height range, any ethnicity, you can all come. And I had tons of friends, fabulous dancers that are professional now, get cut first round, second round, third round. Then they ended up with only 7 girls, and they were looking for someone that looked like Elena of Avalar, whatever her name is. I don't know. She's a princess. They only took 7 people because they were just looking for that, but you never know. So maybe it's a height thing. Maybe they're looking for a specific person that can do certain tumbling. So you really don't ever know. And you just have to, again, it's not personal. It really is, they're looking for something specific and you never know what that is really. So
Exactly. It's just a lot of subjective opinions. So
it
at the end of the
is.
day, it's nothing wrong with you. It just, you're the right package. It just might be the wrong door.
That's wonderful, Megan. Did you
That's
make
my
that up?
favorite advice. No, I did not.
Oh, well, you
But
should,
I do
let's
repeat
tag
that
it.
often.
I love it.
Right package, wrong door.
Yeah. Flipping it around, I feel like you had definitely a more niche experience in the professional dance audition world. Take us
Very
down
niche.
memory lane. Good old Dallas Cowboy cheerleader audition.
It's so long, I will say. Very
Yes.
in depth, lengthy process, but it's for good reason. It was honestly not on my bingo card for the longest time. I was recruited at a clinic in Las Vegas, and I honestly was just ready to go home. It was a long day. You were learning so much material, and I was ready to go home and eat In-N-Out. And I was
Oh,
like,
yes,
I
girl.
don't think dancing after college is for me. And then after, talking with our recruiter and just having that year off of COVID, I was like, no, I need to do this. Anyways, that process was very, very thorough. There was a written application. You had a first round solo. Then you had to do, once you made it to that, you had to do the DCC choreo, send all online, and then hopefully make it to training camp. Made it to
Yeah,
training camp before I got there. Mine was still part of COVID. And so I had to come knowing 11 routines. We already had
yeah.
to know Thunderstruck. And during our finals day, it's such a long day. What people might not know is that you probably dance a total of 5 minutes, but the day is probably 12 hours long. And
Mm-mm.
it
No
is just
bueno.
so mentally and physically exhausting. A lot of sitting down, hot and cold. Yeah.
No, I just remember we were like we were on a family vacation without you because you were at the audition. We were in Hawaii and I remember FaceTiming you and you were it was midnight maybe for you and you were just going over all of your routines because it
Yes.
wasn't just you had one routine and it wasn't just thunder. You had all of what do you call them? Your tags, your sidelines,
Quarter changes. Yes.
quarter changes. I don't know where I got those
hmm
names from. You had all of those quarter changes. How many different dances were there?
So it's a lot. There's approximately 25, and, you know, they're all like a minute, minute and a half long.
Yeah, and going into this audition, you had to learn how many? Did you say 12?
11, and then Thunderstruck. And then during our finals day, it's crazy. Normally now you'll do like the round 2 choreography, and then you'll do a random, they'll maybe give you 1 to 2 routines to know. We had like 11. And then you have to kick. So it's extremely exhausting. So it's like a minute and a half routine. Then they play a random one of those two, and then you go straight into kicks. And I just remember I didn't know that was coming my first year.
Ugh.
I literally thought I was going to die. I started to see stars. I was like, I am not going to go through this. Anyways, that was like the first day of like, okay, we're here. This is legit. This is really hard. And
Yeah.
then from then on, it was really mentally exhausting because,
Oh, yeah.
again, you had the 11 routines that you already knew. And then what would happen, my rookie year training camp, they had a guest choreographer would come in. And so, like, Travis Wall would come in and he'd teach a contemporary routine. And then you would do it in small groups. And then he would give you corrections. They said, okay, great, turn around. And then we call it roulette. So scary. So, so scary.
Roll the dice. No, it's not
Literally,
rolling
you
the
just
dice.
pray. So, out of all the routines you've ever learned in DCC land, they're going to press play on whatever routine they decide. Could be one you learned 2 weeks ago, could be one you learned last night. And you just hope that you have to nail it perfectly. Like they
Yeah.
expect it. If you learned it, you better know it and better dance. Funny story, they had told us to
Tell us.
learn one routine over video earlier in the week. And normally, if we learned it over video, we would always go over as a team before we would perform it or
Yeah.
show and sell it. And
Mm.
we hadn't gone over it yet. And I was really struggling with the routine that morning. And I was like, really making sure I knew the dance. And I was like, okay, I cannot, this dance is not sticking. It's not
Yeah.
clocking. What is that?
Don't
Justin Bieber?
tick tock, no clock.
No, I think you missed my reference, but it's okay.
No, I got it. I got it. I just
Okay.
nice.
Okay, got it. But I made up a phrase and I said, beat the chicken, beat the chicken.
Ugh.
Did I do it? Yes, I did.
That's
Anyways,
how you have to
so
start
I
doing
was
it.
like,
It's like there are so many numbers. It's like, I mean, for those that don't have to learn 25 numbers, I took this from you. You have to start making a narrative. Like, what is
"You
the story
do."
that your dance is doing? Megan's beating chickens because Megan's just a serial
A hungry
chicken
girl.
murderer. But it's like you gotta find how can you keep this in your mind? How can you stay on top of it without? Because obviously you have muscle memory, doing it a ton of times until it's in your body. But when you have that capacity of dances, there's no way that you can just hopefully that it sticks. And that's the
If you go
other
on
part.
autopilot, you're done.
No, and it's like for you, I mean, I'm speaking for you, but I feel like with experience, it gets to a point where it's like you're mentally and you're physically exhausted. Your body's starting to break down, your mind's starting to take you to spooky, scary places. And you're just like, what do I do? Do I rehab my body? Do I do the dances a million more times? Do I learn facts about the Cowboys? Like, you have so many things that, like, you're like, "Oh my gosh, I have a list that's I don't even have enough fingers to count what I have to do." And it's like, how do you like, honestly, this is a question. How do you prioritize what is the most important at that point?
Well, the thing is, if you are mentally prepared, you're gonna be performing to a much higher level, you're gonna be much calmer, you're not gonna be overthinking, and you can relax a little bit more.
Mm,
So, what I had to do every single day before I would go to training camp is I would go through every single quarter change, and I do it with music, like, a decently full out,
mm,
and, but yeah, you'd have to have that really good internal dialogue. A lot of the routines start to look the same at the end of the day because
yes.
a lot of high V, a lot of hair whips. It's like, okay, even some country routines, like they have like similar movements repeated. And
Yeah.
if you turn to the back, like one girl, she was in my group my rookie year. She turned to the back and did this like one part where you kept shaking your hips, but this other routine you're supposed to turn to the front. And she just kept shaking her hips to the back. And I was
Oh
like, oh, you got it.
god.
You got it, girl. Turn to the front. But
Turn
yeah,
We don't wanna see your butt that much. Please, get away.
Turn up. But anyways, yes, that internal dialogue will help you and keep you focused on what dance is actually the correct one. And
Mm,
like I was saying earlier, that's actually what helped me do the dance correctly
that's
because
great.
that night, after going over Beat the Chicken, that night, my group was the lucky winner to do the brand new dance. And I was put in that center position in the very front, and the vets were in the
Yikes.
back, and the vets know it. So
Yeah.
I was in the center, and I had two rookies next to me, and we all like, not a lot of people knew that dance. And I was like,
Mm.
Beat the Chicken, Beat the Chicken. Did I do it? Yes, I did. Yay! And I made it through the
Uh,
whole routine.
that is so funny though, because this week we were like, what can we talk about like with this? And we reached out to some of our friends and they so graciously gifted us their weird audition stories. So without further
Yes!
ado, this is from one of
Here.
my dear friends that she started as a teacher, but then we became great friends. This is her audition fail.
Woo!
She said, a few years ago, I auditioned for an NFL team on my birthday. What a birthday. After
Happy
not
birthday.
dancing for a while, so I was already feeling rusty. Somehow I made it all the way to the final combo. Kudos to you. They had us dance two at a time, and I got paired with a guy. I remember thinking, perfect. I'm not competing against another blonde. Unfortunately, he had absolutely no clue what he was doing. There was a section where he turned to the side, and instead of going where he was supposed to, he turned, looked right at me, and charged straight forward toward me. I got so confused that I convinced myself I was wrong, completely blacked out, stared at the floor for what felt like an 8 count. I looked up at the judges, said, I'm so sorry, tried to jump back into the combo. Then I had to stand back there while they gave us feedback, and I just kept repeating, I am so sorry. Spoiler alert, I did not make the team. That
Oh.
honestly, that is something that is so scary, is doing an audition and you feel great about the combo, and then you get put with someone or maybe a couple people, and people start forgetting, and once one person
Oh.
starts forgetting, you're like, "What the heck is going on next to me?" And then if you get out of it, it's just a bunch of people doing a hoedown in front of a panel of judges.
The Cotton Eye Joe, I don't know what this dance is doing. I don't
No
know what's
idea, no
happening.
idea. I'm gonna get cut right about now.
Hey, yes!
Um,
It's kinda like when you're ice skating and someone falls and you're like, "Ha ha," falls immediately. That
yes.
happens to
Oh
me every
god.
single time.
It's like
Anyways.
yeah. Once you get out of that funk, once you get out of the funk, once you're out of the groove into the funk, I don't know what I'm looking for, but once you get out of it,
Once you're
it's
out of
hard to get back
the
into it.
groove.
Bless her heart.
It happens to the
Happy
best of
birthday.
us. Happy birthday.
So
Happy
sorry.
birthday to you. All right, my turn. Phoned a friend. We all know this. This girl, my bestie, Klein. Okay, she
Love
loved
Klein.
luckily, yes. She shared this story. This is one of my favorite stories to tell. She was on her honeymoon, and before I tell her what she said, before I share what she said verbatim, my favorite part of this whole video is her husband Luke goes, "Go," and to start the tape because it's her
He's like,
audition video, but he
let's
just
get
goes,
this
"Go."
let's get this done, honey. Let's get back to the honeymoon I probably paid a good amount of
Yes.
money for.
Okay, so this is what it is. So, Klein, in 2023, I had tried out for my third season as a DCC. I had just gotten married to my high school sweetheart, and we were honeymooning at the time the second round of auditions were happening. She said this video was taken in Rome, Italy. I don't even know how to pronounce this, but it was taken in Rome.
Try
She
it,
said, so,
please, please.
Terrazzano da Pincio.
That's
I
my
don't know.
favorite place. Good for you, though. That was nice, Megan.
Thank you. Okay, so this video was taken at 6 a.m. I was up at 4 a.m., so jet lagged to get audition ready. You know what that means? Nowhere was open for coffee or breakfast. I was running on fumes. I
Mm,
was sick. I was so
mm.
run down from traveling. I had to find some kind of cold medicine from the Italian pharmacy, which spoke no English. Luke and I had to hike up the mountain to get to this terrace area. Obviously, I did not want to break out into dance in the middle of a tourist crowd. So we scouted this area the night before, got up early to make it up for sunrise, and it ended up being the perfect filming location. However, the high altitude was not friendly to my already sickly lungs. I danced on gravel and finished the routine in my splits in the mud. But you know what? The stunning scenery is all that matters. For the visual, Klein, she's in front of a fountain. She does the round 2 choreo, and then she goes, "Come on." And she guides all the viewers to walk. She does like a brief little walk to go do her kicks in a second location. And it is just the funniest
Wow.
video. But
I mean, she got
that's how,
first overall for creativity and for scenic design. I don't know. Good for her.
I don't know. She was creative,
She gave him a
always creative.
show. Always
But
creative.
yes,
That girl.
that's how crazy our schedules were. A lot of the times it was just like, this is when the second round is gonna be. And she's like, well, I'm on my honeymoon. They're like, well, better bring your pumps. So she was committed, made it happen,
My
and
gosh.
was a star. And we just love talking about it today. So
I love
props to
that. Well,
Klein.
continuing on with our fun stories, Megan, I know for a fact that you must have a funny audition story.
Of course I do. I will say one of my funnier audition stories was I was a senior in high school and, I was trying to figure out where I wanted to go to college. And I definitely wanted to dance in college. So I applied and had to audition for the Cal State Long Beach dance program. And
Love that school.
their audition was a ballet audition, actually. So a full bar, everything. And obviously, our dad is a dance dad. He's the best. Took me to the audition, was waiting with all the other moms, of course, like he always did. And we did this beautiful, like, across the floor routine. And all of a sudden, I'm waiting on the sides and I see dad with his phone taking a
That
video. And he's
exactly.
like,
This is
funny little
him.
stare, like, he's just so happy, smiling ear to
He's
ear,
so
big
excited
phone propped
or
up.
like this. Spooky. Yeah.
For all the people listening, hands double hand on the phone,
Double hands,
zoomed
protect the
in,
phone,
a
big
smile on his
smile.
face,
Borderline
and I
probably
just remember
creepy, but
I know people always
not
probably thought he was a creeper, but
he's not a creeper. He's passionate about being a dance dad.
he's just so passionate, and I just remember seeing this guy tap him on the shoulder and was just like, "Hey, man, no, no, no." He's like, "Oh, okay, got it,
Yeah.
got it, got it, got it." Like, just I'm like, of course our dad tried to
Mm.
record me during an audition. I'm like, audition etiquette, Jimmy. It's
Jimmy, come
okay.
on, you know
But
better.
I just
They
remember I
didn't.
was like, "Dad, of course you had to do that for me. I'm a college
Yeah.
student almost."
He will never stop being a dad, though.
Yes, never.
That's too good.
Anyways, it's not that funny, but it was funny at the
It's
time.
good.
Anyways, Sean, enlighten us. Give us a giggle. What was yours?
Okay, well, it's a very positive story, but it is silly at its core. So when I was working for Disney, I had already been hired as a dancer, but I was just like, wanted to have a fun time and I wanted to diversify my portfolio. So I was like, there was an audition that was a rollerblading audition for people that would basically dance on rollerblades down the whole parade route. And I was like, I want to go. And fun fact, when I was just my whole life, basically, I carried a set of rollerblades in my trunk because I was like, you never know when you're going to need to pop on some rollerblades and speed somewhere. And I've done it many a times. So I feel confident on rollerblades. And I went in and they literally had like this big coned off area and they put on, I had like the Jackson 5. I'm pretty sure I had ABC. They're just like, all right, you're going to just go through the cones and you're going to just improv dance. And funny story, I did actually do a dance on rollerblades in high school. So I was like, okay,
Oh, yeah.
I did. I just kind of remembering this. I'm like, wait, I actually was a professional rollerblader? No, I
Didn't
did it
we
once
I think I
before.
rode a scooter.
Oh my gosh. I did remember that number too.
You did the rollerblades and I had the scooter.
Yeah. But weird high school. No. And yeah, I got booked as a roller skater in the parade. Unfortunately, I ended up injuring myself. Thankfully, not rollerblading, but I did not end up doing it on the route. So I'm gonna get that one day, just not quite yet.
Didn't you walk on stilts, though? I remember you had a
I
part where
did.
you would oh my goodness.
That I did. I was a stilt walker many a times. They hired me as a swing and they're like, "Oh, and there are stilt walk dancers in this parade. So you are going to go to stilt walking camp and learn how to chaîner and chasse on articulated stilts 3 feet high." And I
Woo!
did. And honestly, knock on wood, but I never ever fell. So
Woo! I mean, not like
thank
you're gonna be
goodness.
on them again, but
Yeah. Well,
okay.
honestly,
You
who
never know.
knows? You never say never, Megan.
He didn't get wheels, but he did get some inches,
I yep, I got a couple of feet
some
actually.
feet.
Well, yeah, no, good audition. Great
Maybe next
outcome.
time you'll earn your wheels.
I hope one day. But yeah, that's about it for the auditions. Talking about like maybe if you haven't auditioned or if you have auditioned and you're looking for some takeaways, what do we got for our friends listening right now? Talking just about what to think, tips, tricks for going into an audition setting.
There's so many. I would say the first things first, my best advice is give yourself plenty of time to get to the audition. I think
Oh
there's
yeah, honey.
no honey, there's nothing
Honey.
worse than getting to an audition or like trying to get to an audition and you're already frazzled and freaking out, trying to find the space. Am I in the right studio? Am I in like that is like the worst feeling in my opinion. So I
It's
always try and
horrible.
give myself like maybe 30 minutes ahead of time,
Honestly, maybe even
like
more.
more. Yeah.
Because, like, more time, you can just warm up,
Exactly. Exactly.
do a
Because
split,
you're
do a
already
push-up,
gonna do split. You're
intimidate
already
people with your beautiful costume.
you're already gonna be stressed out. There's gonna be those nerves. Might as well control what you can control and get there early and take a breather, be calm, be collected, and go in there with confidence.
Yeah,
That's my first one. Okay.
I love that.
y- Thank you.
I
What's
definitely would
yours?
say wear appropriate attire for that audition. If it's a jazz
Yes.
audition, wearing clothes that are gonna, facilitate or show your clean lines. So, maybe more tight-fitting stuff instead of like a loose, flowy muumuu, wear something that they can see you and they can see your technique and they can see your lines, as opposed to if you're going to like a hip hop focus audition, like maybe you're wearing
Sports
something
bra.
it's right? No, like wear something that's going to well, number 1, wear something that's gonna get you notice in the right way.
Mhm. Yes, you don't want a nip slip.
Yeah, right shoes, right everything. Try your best.
Yeah, you
Do your
wanna look the
research.
part.
I was just talking with a friend this weekend about this, and they're like, "You can if you're going to an audition and you know who's gonna be leading it, look up what they wear to teach class. Look up what they
Mm,
wear. If they
smart.
you can use social media as a tool to help you in this." So,
Absolutely. I wish I had thought about that when I was auditioning for my collegiate team. I should have, like, gussied up a little bit more. I didn't have a spray tan, and like we've discussed, I'm neon white, like, you can see my veins. Not that that's a
yes.
bad thing, but for what I like, the attire, it's like a sports bra and booty shorts, and, like, you want your hair down and curled, and I was just white as a ghost, and it was like, "You need to let's add something a little bit more, like, womanly, you know?
Mhm.
You're not
And
in
hey,
high
you
school
never know.
anymore.
Maybe they're looking for someone very, very pale. You never know. You never know.
No, and also, I put my hair up in, like, a ponytail too during that jazz part because I was like, "Well, we're doing turns in second, and I wanna do my turns well." So, you do what you have to do at the end of the
You
day.
do what you gotta do.
Yes.
What about, one more from you?
Okay, one more from me. I would say I think a lot of preparation goes ahead of time, and
Yes.
I think you gotta start preparing earlier, so always trying to stay ready is what I like to
If you
keep in
stay ready,
mind
you
for
don't gotta
myself.
get ready.
Exactly. So
RuPaul.
sometimes is that from him? Love it. I think a lot of times with some girls who've maybe auditioned for the NFL world, from my experience, they start prepping maybe a few months before auditions. It's like, no, start prepping as soon as you get cut. And then you can go
Mhm.
into that next year feeling super confident that you did everything in your power to make the
Yeah.
team. So at the end of the day, the more prepared you are, the more confident you are. And you want to go in there coming back as a new version of yourself, someone they haven't seen before. You're entering a
Yeah.
new era. Just have fun and let them see who you are. You have everything to share, nothing to prove. So I think when you just go in feeling super solid, you can relax a little bit more, have a little bit more fun, and enjoy every part of the process because you've put in the work already and you have that confidence.
Yeah. I
That's
love
mine.
that. That's good. Very good.
Thanks. Let's hear one more from you because I feel like we have two very different worlds, and I'd love for our viewers to hear one more from your side.
Ah, well, thank you. I think that this one is can be applicable to both for sure. I just think that it's definitely important to show who you are and as a dancer, as a performer, and just like let your personality shine through. And that's easier said than done. It's when you're
Mhm.
trying to focus on learning a specific style or learning choreography, it takes a certain level of preparedness to be able to learn the style, learn the steps, and then put on top of it something that'll show you to differentiate you from the person next to you because there are so many dancers and I feel like at this day and age everyone can do high kicks, everyone can do a triple turn. Like the technique is what's expected at these auditions. So
Mhm.
what will separate you and what will maybe get you the job is showing them, hey, this is me and this is what sets me apart from all these other people. And practicing that is, getting comfortable, picking up choreo fast, and then getting comfortable using your face, using what
That's
facilities
huge.
you have. If you have long, like arms and legs, like making sure they're clean lines. And if you've got a great set of teeth, like let them blind the judges or the people at the desk. Like
Oh
use
my
what you got,
god.
right? I feel like you
Eyes
can
and teeth,
agree.
honey.
Use the teeth. Mama paid a lot of money for these.
Oh my gosh. That is one way to close out that. Love it. No, but that's great advice. I think we often say that we are a bouquet. Everyone is beautiful in their own way. So
Mhm.
bring you to the audition because no one else is you. They already
Amen.
have what they need. They don't need another one of them. So
True.
they need you.
I love
Anyways,
that.
this is a perfect note to close out on. I think Sean and I both really auditioned for our dream teams, and it did take us one audition to achieve what we've wanted, but it took every other no and previous audition and competition and loss to get there. It wasn't a very linear road, but we heard so many no's and trials and tribulations leading up to that that we were able to be successful.
Yeah, and I
So,
think that it's easy to also dismiss like for me, I had so many friends that were so talented and I was like, how if you've gotten cut, like there's no reason that I would even try to do X, Y, and Z. But at the end of the day, it's like we are a byproduct of what we've been doing and training. Like even for Radio City, like I did dance team in high school. I did precision dance. I worked at Disney having to perform every day. And then when you
mhm,
put those two together, that's what Radio City is. They want clean lines, they want precision, and they want performance. And I feel like that's very similar for you with DCC. You trained with
yes.
palms in college.
I had 4 years of doing palm technique and projecting in a stadium
Yes.
and knowing how to hit the crowd and also know how to mentally push through those extremely tough times when it
Yeah.
was those nationals practices. We'd practice 9 hours a day, and it was constantly full out repeating tricks. And also, we did it with such a positive attitude and uplifting everyone else. And that's what allowed me to make the team and
Yeah.
have a good career where I was happy working hard and happy sweating and cheering on my teammates because I had done it
1000%.
really hard. I'd done
Yeah.
really hard things prior. So when
I
you work really hard and train really hard, the reward is so much better.
Yeah, and I think that our teachers, our mentors, they were really good at establishing that from a young age and continuing it on from dance studio to high school to college to beyond. They shared their experiences in the dance world and pushed us accordingly and trained us to be prepared for the real world. And every tier higher that we got from every level was just building up to. Luckily, we found that specific niche that we both kind of excelled at. And so
Yes,
knowing yourself, knowing your strengths, and then continuing to work hard towards your ultimate dreams is what's going to take you there.
that was great. Yeah, we were really lucky to have the teachers we had. We were not given the easy road. We were pushed to our limits. We did a lot of things that we didn't want to do, but it was because we needed to do in order to become better. So we have a lot to thank to our teachers who have led us down the right path and guided us to the bright futures we have now.
Thank you, teachers.
Anyways, thank you. We love you.
You're the best.
But yes, so I think that takes us to the end of the
Oh,
road.
do we have to stop?
I guess so. We could just
All
keep
right.
yapping for hours, but
No, like literally we could.
sorry.
It's kind of bad.
I
I
know.
promise we'll get better at keeping this short and sweet.
Yeah, but
But until then,
you get to giggle. It's
you're
fine.
stuck with us. All right. Well,
Mwah!
thank you, Megan, for that laugh, and thank
Sorry.
you all of our friends for listening and tuning in on other episodes of the Sidekicks Pod.
New episodes drop every Thursday. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And we'll see you next Thursday. Ciao for now, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye.